New reports are talking about how the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is indeed delayed. But wait a minute, I thought that had come out last week and it was proven to all be fake news. In fact, the only person on the internet saying that it wasn't fake news was that Den of Nerds guy, and he doesn't know anything. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Do me a favor and smash that like button. Oh, baby, we got to get right into this. Oh, and if you're interested, I did do a live stream over on the Den of Nerds Live this morning talking all about this issue. And I'll be honest with you guys, I went in on this whole scenario, what's going on, how I feel about people saying I was a liar, and then I was the only one that had the actual story. And we also roasted some people that left some crazy comments. So if you're interested, it's a really entertaining show. Go check it out on the Den of Nerds Live. I will link it in the description below. But now let's get into this news. Let's break down the reports. I'll talk about what I can talk about, and then I will speculate as well. So first, let's talk about the first scoop that came out from Collider. Literally exclusive Obi-Wan Disney Plus series on hold as crew sent home. Now, I joked about this on the stream earlier, but it's like they got go home Roger. Do you know what I mean? Like, go home, Roger. And I'll read right from the report a little bit here, and then we'll get into the other one. And then we'll speculate. Last week, troubling rumors began swirling about the upcoming Disney Plus series revolving around the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ewan McGreggor is poised to reprise his role from the Star Wars prequels in a story set 8 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith. The screenwriter and director were tapped to spearhead the series, and production was on pace to begin this year. These rumors hinted at potential trouble behind the scenes, and while we are hearing the show isn't canceled, we are hearing that it's been delayed. Two independent sources with knowledge of the situation tell Collider that the Obi-Wan series has been put on hold as the crew that had assembled in Pinewood Studios in London were sent home. A time frame was not given, but the crew was told that the show would be down indefinitely. We are hearing that Lucasfilm president and Obi-Wan producer Kathleen Kennedy was not happy with the scripts. Sources tell us that what will most likely happen next is the scripts will be reworked with the hopeful goal of reassembling this summer, but there's always the possibility that that time frame could shift. All right, next up, I'm going to read a little bit of the Hollywood Reporter's scoop because they were scooping this as well, talking about the scripts. It's very interesting. So here we go. Sources tell THR that the scripts, only 2 were written, and story became an issue and that the entire package has been jettisoned. Lucasfilm is now on the hunt for a new writer to pen the series. At the same time, sources say the project is being configured from 6 episodes to 4. It is unclear when the show will ramp up again, although insiders stress that McGregor remains attached to the Star Wars and Chow remains as its director. Disney has no comment. I was going to read from the Hollywood Reporter. Here is what Ewan McGregor said. He said, "It's just slid to next year. That's all. The scripts were really good," McGregor said. Now that episode 9 came out and everyone at Lucasfilm has got more time to spend on the writing, they felt they wanted more time to write the episodes. Okay, great. You know, I love Ewan McGregor. He has no idea what he's talking about. And you... Now that episode's 9 over, they can people at Lucasfilm have more time to write scripts. Dude, you don't know what you're talking about, but I still love you. Okay, now I have to stop here for a second and just put out a little disclaimer. I know some things about this that I cannot even say. Last week, I ran the story on Saturday talking about how I had heard from multiple sources and had spoken with Jason Ward a little bit about how it was even possible that they were making the show into a film, and there's some other stuff that I know about that I actually can't talk about. I've been sworn to secrecy by some of my sources, so there's some things I know that I can't exactly talk about. I apologize about that, but I'm thinking this stuff's going to come out very soon anyway. Now, let's talk about the perception here, because bottom line, man, this is not a good look. This is not a good look no matter how you slice it. Kathleen Kennedy, once again, having creative problems with people that are making Star Wars. And I don't care how you slice it, it just plainly doesn't look good. Think about this. We are now in the wake of the rise of Skywalker, which although I liked and a lot of general audiences likes, I believe it's fair to say at this point that most of the hardcore Star Wars fan base did not love that movie. Even though there's a good portion of us that did, myself included, and many fans here at the Den of Nerds really liked it, plenty of people thought it was just okay or not that great, right? So as far as the hardcore Star Wars fan base is concerned, Rise of Skywalker, not really doing it for them, okay? I can acknowledge that. I can admit that. The film is also now, you know, the lowest rated Star Wars movie ever. It's even lower than Phantom Menace, which is interesting, and we could get into that in another video. But the point being, with The Rise of Skywalker, much of the story and the narrative surrounding it is actually about the production, not the film itself. A lot of people are blaming Kathleen Kennedy, people at Lucasfilm, maybe even Bob Iger, because it's so obvious that the film was just crunched together. The whole trilogy was crunched together. They didn't have enough time to do things, okay? And Kathleen Kennedy continues to have creative differences and problems with all these different directors. We are at a place now where people cannot stop talking about the Duel of the Fates script, which, by the way, side note on that, was I a little too harsh on that script? Sure. I've read a little bit of it. I can see where people are coming from when they say that the script is really good. There are some things in that script that I absolutely love. But there's a lot of stuff that I think would have been super whack. Anyways, I digress. Many people will not stop talking about the Trevorrow script. They won't stop pulling up different pieces of concept art, talking about how this would have been in the Trevorrow script. And really the whole thing here is Kathy made the wrong move. She made the wrong move by firing Trevorrow. Classically, she fired him, okay? They couldn't find common ground. She takes him off the project after he had been announced. By the way, there is no drama there if she never hires that guy in the first place. Do you know what I mean? And so there is this thing going on with her where when you combine the perception of the Rise of Skywalker, the perception of her, the perception of Lucasfilm, and how she can't seem to work well with creatives, it's causing a really big problem. Now, is it fair to say that films and productions like this always run into kind of issues? Different things happen and you gotta audible at the line? 100%. That is totally fair. It is fair to say that, and it's also fair to say that Star Wars gets an inordinate amount of pressure and it goes under the microscope incredibly because it's Star Wars, right? But at the same time, you're Star Wars. Get over it. That's what you're going to have to deal with for the rest of time. And so it's really whack for them to come out and announce Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. And by the way, I went back and watched the D23 presentation. Kathleen Kennedy, beloved patron saint of all things great with Star Wars, literally told the crowd that they are very close. She literally told the crowd that all of the scripts were written and that they're going to be going into production very quickly. Here's the thing. According to the Hollywood Reporter, only 2 of the scripts were written, and Kathy doesn't like them, according to them, right? So she comes out, decides to just do the Ewan McGregor announcement. Obviously, that was premature. Even though we all knew it was already coming, I scooped it like 3 weeks before the D23 thing. She feels like she has to come out, bring Ewan McGregor out, get everyone's hopes up, and then tell the crowd we're really close. The scripts are all done. We can't wait to start shooting this. It's almost as if she knows and understands the perception of her and the perception of projects under her reign. I almost feel like that's why she did it, and yet there's still problems. It's obvious that not all the scripts were written. It's obvious that Kathy hadn't read those scripts. And then when she did, she changes things, okay? Now, to be frank, I also can't understand how it's this late into the production, they're about to go, the crew's ready to go, and you go home Roger them? Oh, we don't like these scripts. Well, something's not adding up here. Now, look, like I said, I know some things that I can't even talk about, but think about it from your perspective. From your perspective, guys, does this even make sense? There are 2 scripts, there are 4 scripts. The 6 episodes are becoming 4 episodes. Kathy says that all the scripts are done at D23. Now she's read them and they're not done. Do you see what I'm saying? Something is not making sense here. But the bottom line is, it almost doesn't matter what the real story is because once again, Lucasfilm finds themselves in the news cycle for horrible reasons in a narrative that they have such little control of. Kathy, you've got a Twitter. You can come out and say stuff. You don't have to let the narrative just be created here online. You can come out and say some stuff. And poor Ewan McGregor and poor his rep and poor the rap and poor all of these people that are trying to make sense of this because Disney's giving them nothing. Disney is giving them nothing when it comes to this, okay? So on the one hand, it's like, look, obviously we're not being told everything. Like, I know for sure we're not being told everything. Obviously, there's a lot of movement over at Lucasfilm. Now, what I will speculate about, and this is speculation, this has nothing to do with the things I've been told from my source, but my speculation is that there's big changes a-coming over at Lucasfilm. Big changes. And it just makes sense, right? What did I tell you guys? For a long time, I thought we're going to have to wait until the Rise of Skywalker when those total box office numbers start coming in, when the reviews start coming in, when we start to get a sense of what the fan base thinks. We're going to have to wait for all of that before we can really know what's going on with Star Wars. Well, I'll say this. The message has been sent, I think, pretty clearly that the sequel trilogy and the current direction of Star Wars needs a massive shakeup. Massive shakeup. And I get a feeling that this project could be being delayed because a massive shakeup is on the way. You know what I mean? A big, massive shakeup is on the way. Or maybe it's business as usual that has the magnifying glass on it just because it's Star Wars. And even in that scenario, Star Wars is still to blame. It's still Kathy's fault. She's in charge, man. Don't come out at D23 and tell us that the scripts are written. Don't do it. Every time Kathleen Kennedy comes out and speaks to the fans, she messes up. Look, I don't want to be that guy, but I really think it's time for some fresh blood over at Lucasfilm. I think it's time to move Kathy out of the way and move some new people in. And maybe that's what's happening. That's all I'm saying. Speculation. That's all I got for you. But that is the news out there, folks. The rumors last week that everyone said were real, and then they put the kibosh on it. And then there was that one guy, that Den of Nerds guy. I don't know what his deal was, but that one guy that was like, hey, I don't think this story is complete bullcrap. Well, I guess that one guy was right because it's not complete bullcrap. Collider reports they got go home Rogered. Okay, the crew go home Rogered. The scripts, Kathy said they're all done. Only 2 of them are done. She didn't read them. She just read them right as they're about to go and call action. She doesn't like them, okay? So everybody gets go home Rogered. Kathy's going to find someone new to make the script. Or, option number 3, something else is going on. Something else going on that we can't talk about. But that's the news. That's all I can say. I want to know what you think about this situation. Do you agree that either way it's a bad look for Lucasfilm and Disney? Or do you think, hey, much to do with nothing, we're fine here. How are you? Whatever you're thinking, let me know in the comments section below. Now let's shout out James Woo. Indeed, it was Bucky that was the Captain America that had the gun in the comic books. So shout out to you, James Woo. And now let's ask another nerd card question before we get out of here. I want to know how much you've been paying attention to the rumor mill. What video game series is apparently getting a new edition or a reboot over being done with Disney and Lucasfilm? This is hot off the presses. I want to know what popular Star Wars video game is apparently getting a rework or a reboot in the modern era. Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.